Welcome to another mentoring moment with Dr. Mo. I'm Dr. Mo, and in this mentoring moment, we will elevate and enhance your tapping practice by taking a deep dive into some tips to make your 9-gamut more effective when you use it in sessions. So this video actually marks the third and final video in my 3-part mini-series on the 9-gamut, and in order to fully understand the context of which I created these tips from, please check out my first video where I go into potential theories as to why the 9-gamut is most effective. As I mentioned, the tips that I mentioned here are directly related to the theory that I believe is most in line with why the 9-gamut is more effective. Why the 9-gamut is effective, excuse me. So these are my personal tips that I've read and researched on, and I've also had very successful experiences using them with clients. Okay, so take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, do check out my 2 previous videos, the first on 9-gamut theories, and the second one being what not to do in the 9-gamut. So let's kind of go to the meat and potatoes of today's little video, which is how to spice up your 9-gamut. So my first tip is to be unpredictable. These tips lend themselves to unpredictability, and I feel like this is a big thing with making the 9-gamut more effective, because the way the 9-gamut protocol is taught is just that. It's a protocol. It's the same every single time. So the protocol is really good for like a new client. If you've never ever used the 9-gamut with them and they have never used the 9-gamut, then it's a new stimulus, right? Maybe a couple of times it's still new, but after a while, every single time, if you do the 9-gamut every single time the same way, you have them hum the same song, you have them count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you have them hum the same song, it becomes part of their long-term memory, right? It's no longer a new stimulus. And the theory that I'm basing this information off of is overloading working memory. Working memory is temporary storage. It's things that are novel and new, and you likely won't ever use them again. And that's very different than long-term storage, memory storage, which is like you have it in your brain forever, right? So you really want to use the 9-gamut to your advantage by taking advantage of your client's temporary working memory storage by being unpredictable, right? And this means instead of counting backwards from 5 to 0 as the protocol states, have your client do some simple math with you, or have your client count backwards from 20 to 10, or 25 to 13, right? Play with the numbers so your client kind of has to think a bit more and use their brain resources in a different way. This isn't meant to kind of to quiz your client at all, but give them something that is a bit more challenging than just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Also, when it comes to humming a song, instead of having them hum, the greatest hits like the Happy Birthday, or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or Row 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 Your Boat, have them hum a specific song that you know that they will know. If there's some way of knowing that that you suggest. Or better yet, have your client listen to you as you hum a tune, either from a real song or something that you made up. Then your client has to listen to you, and then they have to mimic you. So in doing that, they're using different parts of their brain that require them to use their working memory, that require them to use their temporary memory storage to be able to listen, hold that tune in their memory, and then create the same tune back to you. So that uses their brain in a different way. You're engaging different neural circuits, and it makes your client become more distracted, more stimulated, and that helps decrease the emotionality and the vividness of the memory that you're working on. Let's see. The next tip is to play around with the eye movements. So the eye movements that are in the 9 gamut are circles, and they are diagonals. Look hard down to the right, look hard down to the left, but play with the directionality of those eye movements. So in EMDR, I'm not saying that the 9 gamut is EMDR. However, the efficacy, one of the theories about why EMDR is effective is because of the lateralized eye movements, and they're shown to downregulate the amygdala. So, incorporate some lateralized eye movements with your client, or, incorporate the floor to ceiling eye roll, or just spice up those eye movements in different ways based on the directionality. Research also shows that if you play with the speed of the eye movements, not just the direction, this can also be very effective. There is research that suggests that the faster the eye movements are conducted, the greater decreases in the emotionality and the intensity of the memories is, versus if you move your eyes slower. So if this is available to you and your client, if your client feels comfortable, moving their eyes faster, sometimes eye movements can create some head pain, or back of the eye pain or back of the head pain. You kind of just monitor that, and tune in with your client, but know that these are some ways that you can kind of elucidate on that unpredictability aspect of the 9 gamut. Incorporating new stimuli to your client is very important, and it can help decrease intensity of memories a lot quicker than if you were just doing something that was the same thing over and over and over again, right? So just play around with it, and let me know in the comments below if you tried some of these things and how they went for you and your client. I'd love to know. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you'd like some one-on-one mentoring advice, you can join my mentoring Patreon. We would love to have you there. So I hope you have enjoyed this mentoring moment with Dr. Mo. I'm Dr. Mo, and we will talk and tap soon. Bye.